The whole point is that we don't know what we're talking about. And I don't know, honestly, hopefully this shows like how you breach the subject with people who are not in that community and have no idea what's going on. Like us.
Welcome to Normalizing Non-Monogamy, the podcast where we interview incredible people from across the entire spectrum of non-monogamy to hear their fascinating stories. We strive to bring guests on the show who have a healthy approach to non-monogamy. However, it's important to remember that everyone does it a little bit differently, and the views and opinions expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect our own.
Additionally, we produce this show for entertainment purposes only. Please be aware that we aren't doctors or therapists. Consult a medical professional for anything regarding your health that you might learn about on the show. Enjoy!
Welcome to episode 1 of Focus Fridays. We're Finn and Emma, and if you're new to this show and this is your first time tuning in, this is not our normal format. Typically, we interview people who are exploring non-monogamy. However, this is a series of episodes that are going to be focused on a specific topic.
That's not to say you should leave, though.
No. Please listen.
And if you are looking for, again, there's going to be 10 of these episodes, 10 of these topics. If you want to listen to the other 10 right now, you can actually go to our website, normalizingnonmonogamy.com, click on the courses tab, and you'll be taken to a place where you can download all 10 of them for free if you would like. And you also have the opportunity there to make a contribution to the show. It is not required, but if you do, we're super grateful. Either way, it's free for you if you want. The other option is you can wait, and next week, episode 2 will come out, and the week after that, episode 3, and so on until
every Friday.
Episode 10.
For 10 Fridays only.
For now.
Right. For season, we're calling this season 1, by the way. We're hoping to do this again.
So as you probably heard in the little intro there at the beginning, we are talking to 2 people today.
Matt and Jessica.
Who don't know jack about non-monogamy. Other than their 2 best friends in the whole world, their words, not mine, told them this last summer that they have a podcast where they interview non-monogamous people. And that they, in fact, themselves have been non-monogamous for the entire time that Jessica has known us.
So it's a little bit confusing what you just said.
Good.
But the point is, these are some of our best friends. Last summer, we came out and told them all about the podcast and what we have been doing exploring non-monogamy. And we decided to have them come on the show. Well, actually, we invited them. They decided to come on and try to help us define these terms.
And you thought I was confusing.
You were talking through it backwards.
Yeah. So super grateful. They've been super supportive of everything, and we're so happy that they came on the show. And this is a super fun conversation. I will say it starts off a little bit slow because part of what we wanted to do with this is give them kind of complicated terms and terms that maybe don't show up in vanilla world, I guess. I don't know about vanilla. In monogamy world, and see if they can define them. But the first handful of terms are sort of self-defining, but we have a good conversation about them nonetheless. So if you want to get to the funny stuff, you can skip ahead, but I think we have a good time.
The whole thing is definitely worth listening to.
Enough disclaimers, enough confusing you.
One other really quick announcement.
We'll do more of that later on.
We have, as with all of these Focus Fridays, we will have show notes on our website for these episodes as normal. In the show notes, there will be some resources listed that we discussed throughout this episode, as well as a list of all of the terms that are defined in this discussion. So if you want a full list, the definitions won't be there, just the list of terms. Go to our website, normalizingnonmonogamy.com, and you can go to the courses tab, and under that will be Focus Fridays.
Yeah. And I also wanted to say, too, that a lot of these terms are very subjective, right? And everyone is going to sort of define these in different ways for themselves. And we want to just acknowledge really quick up front that we know that, and our definitions may not be 100% spot on. They will be pretty accurate for most things, but
they're based on our experiences.
Yeah. And some of them are very hard to define, again, because people take that and they mold it to themselves. So again, just keep that in mind with some of these things. And, and
take our definitions with a grain of salt, I guess. And if you want to do more research,
like 2 grains of salt.
if you want to go do more research, we highly recommend that.
We're not completely walking around in the dark here. We do have some idea what we're talking about, but yes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
With that in mind, we will stop talking at you and let's go talk with our good friends.
Our best friends.
Our best friends, Matt and Jessica.
Let's go.
This is pure gold.
It is.
It's going to be nothing but gold. I don't know what you were expecting.
We're so excited.
Just tell me you're not recording and we'll just...
Everything's fine.
Let's do a dry run and not record.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah.
We're not recording.
It's just us chatting.
Okay.
Brilliant.
So we have our two of our closest friends on planet Earth here with us.
Matt and Jessica.
They have better friends on Mars.
In quotes. But also disclaimer though, they've done 0 research in preparation for this.
It was real hard to not look up anything at all. I was like, I wanted to school you.
Yeah. They do not have any background in non-monogamy either. This whole episode is supposed to be a walkthrough of terms and fun conversation about what some of the definitions are in non-monogamous relationships. And they do not have any background. So we're going to have a fun conversation and have them guess some of these fun terms.
And it was supposed to be a drinking game where if they get a term right, we have to drink.
Yeah.
And if they get it wrong, we're supposed to drink. But we're all just drinking anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions before we get going?
I don't know if anything would help at this point. So,
Do you want to introduce yourselves at all for anybody out there who's curious who Matt and Jessica are?
I don't know.
How long have you been together?
Well, oh yeah, I guess that's a good point. So we've only been married for, what is it, 7 months now?
Yep.
But like,
I'll say yes. Yeah.
we've been together over 10 years. So,
Right. Yes.
yeah.
We're both in our 30s.
And Matt and I have known each other since kindergarten
Yep.
ish, and we've been
A long time.
friends since then. And Jessica and I, well, we met before.
I was like, I've known them for not quite as long as you.
I think
but
I met her before you. 2009, summer 2009.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we've known each other a while.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
been a minute.
It's been a minute. And here we are. And we recently told you guys about this whole thing. And maybe that's a whole different episode.
I think that is.
Okay. We won't go down that story.
Oh yeah.
We'll tell that story another day.
Which, although we are very good friends, it was a complete shock when you told us that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, I'm sure it was.
I mean, a complete shock makes it sound. I
I guess you told us about the podcast as well, and that part of that was probably a shock, knowing that this has been a big part of this, your life right now. And I think that's what kind of made it a shock to me.
Yeah. It was kind of a 1-2,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But-
Again, our apologies for that.
No, we felt.
You don't have to apologize. We appreciate knowing you.
Well, here we are ready to educate you on the finer things in life.
I want to caveat too. I want to caveat that we are not experts, and this is based on our experience and also some basic internet research.
The whole point is that we don't know what we're talking about.
Right.
And I don't know, honestly, hopefully this shows like how you breach the subject with people who are not in that community and have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Like us.
Well, then maybe the first term, sort of self-explanatory, but nevertheless, ethical non-monogamy. What do you think?
You can take this one.
How many are you going to say that?
I know.
If you're leading off not wanting to take one that they're saying is a softball. Yeah, so basically you're not with a single partner is non-monogamy. Like ethical just implies that it's like consensual among everybody. You're communicating correctly the way that it should be, so that, I don't know, I feel like that's why it gets a bad rap, is because people will automatically assume that it's not ethical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's more like cheating.
I'll accept that.
This definition was just at at its most basic is a relationship that involves more than two people. And the ethical piece, everyone's enthusiastically consenting and respectful and aware of what's going on.
Enthusiastically consenting.
Yes.
So this is sort of like the ultimate blanket term over everything, I would say. So not a whole lot of definition here.
I can see us using some of these definitions in other definitions now as well.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Enthusiastically consent, yeah.
Can you non-ethically consent, though?
Under the influence of alcohol, or I would say under some type of...
You can non-enthusiastically consent.
Right, yeah. Non-enthusiastically,
yes.
like, I don't... Like under duress?
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Is that what they say?
Ooh. Yeah. Okay, so the second one, also kind of a blanket term, open relationship. Matt?
An open relationship would mean that you're not exclusively committed to one person, I would say. And both people know that, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's more of a generic term, and it's really how the two people or the people in the relationship want to define it.
Yeah, it's sort of the generic term for the next two that are coming at us, which are, we'll give you two at a time, but the first one is swinging and the second one is polyamory or polyamorous. And so it's sort of a more generic term for those. If some people maybe don't define strongly as one or the other, they will say, well, maybe we're just in an open relationship.
Yeah.
Just open.
Okay.
So that
open would almost seem like it'd be like an umbrella term over all of those different terms.
Yep.
Exactly.
Or different relationships.
The next one would be swinging, or it's sometimes called the swinging lifestyle, or sometimes it's called just a lifestyle, or some people like to shorten it to LS.
Yeah.
Oh, I would say that's an engine type if LS1.
That's perfect. That's a perfect response.
All right, next turn.
No, because I remember asking you about this, the fateful night where you told us all about your lives. And I was like, I don't know, like, are these different? Are these the same? As far as like polyamory versus like the lifestyle.
Yeah. So wait, are we going to define this one?
Yeah. Are you?
I can.
He already submitted an answer. It's an engine type.
Oh, okay.
That's LS.
No, I mean that's where. Well, and I guess I'm not sure how this works either. I guess it doesn't have to be two couples, but it could be a couple or some group. I mean,
yeah,
it wouldn't just be hooking up, so you'd have to have at least a group on one side, right? Well, no, I mean, I know you could have like a couple and then a single person too, and that would still be swinging.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it goes in the other direction.
Yeah, so the idea here is that swinging is typically more around having multiple sexual partners and not really focusing so much on the romantic piece of the puzzle. And so I guess maybe the next one that we'll touch on here is progressive swinging. I kind of gave away, I didn't maybe give away that one.
Does progressive imply that it's a newer way of thinking, or that it is you progress through swinging towards polyamory?
Yeah, so
that's right, though.
Yeah, more or less that it's people who are okay having like a little bit deeper relationships, right? And so there are some people in swinging who don't want any type of blurring of the like, we're here for sex and nothing else. But there's a lot of people who are like, we're here because we want to make awesome friends and we want to have some level of emotional intimacy, but we're maybe not necessarily looking for
like a boyfriend or girlfriend.
A boyfriend or a girlfriend or somebody to maybe move in. It's a little bit maybe deeper than swinging, but not all the way to the...
That's progressive?
Yeah.
Or that's the progressive part of it? Okay.
Yeah. It's actually a newer term that another podcast coined a little while back. And so trying to find that middle ground between swinging, which is not as much emotional or emotionally intimate, and we're going to get to polyamory in a second, and have that kind of middle ground. And that's where that progressive swinging came in.
Questions, concerns, thoughts?
Oh, that makes sense. So I think the stereotypical swinger that they show in movies or shows or something like that is kind of a flirt, or the couple's a flirt. They come out with a drink, probably a margarita in a hot tub. And that's what's like always, that I've always kind of like seen, right?
That's like the media's stereotypical portrayal.
And then they come out super flirty.
Between that and like, there's a key bowl in the Grinch Christmas party
Yeah.
That's
in
one
the
of our
Jim Carrey
terms.
version.
Yeah.
And it took me forever. It took me
I don't know what
forever
that
to
is.
know. You put all your keys in a bowl and then
Oh,
you
a
just
key
pull
bowl.
out keys,
Okay,
and
yes.
that's who you're going home with.
That was like
And
a
then
one
it's
word.
like, I don't want to have a tone that makes it sound like, because I know I just sounded very judgy, but like that's portrayed in the media all the time as what swingers are too, and that's basically what like mainstream as far as like it's in a Jim Carrey Grinch movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I remember seeing that on that 70s show.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's the whole key party thing is a very stereotypical swinger thing, like you just said. And it's mostly, I think, associated with like the 70s is, yeah, like in what you just said of putting all the keys in the bowl and then taking them out. And that's who you go home with, whatever keys you get.
So it's like completely random at that point and
Yeah.
not progressive at all.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not very friendly to people who don't own a car. That's one
Or
of
a
the
house.
other issues. Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
You can put your house keys in if you don't have a car.
I suppose. But if you don't have a house either,
your house keys,
Your bike keys
my bike.
so
to your lot.
yeah. And I will
This is a combination to my Schwinn.
I will for the record say, having been doing this now for 10 plus years, we've never once put our keys in any bowl
No,
ever.
no,
So it's just not a thing that happens.
not that we've ever experienced.
I would say if it was going to happen, it would probably be somebody throwing a themed party that was set like a satire party, making fun of that.
Yeah.
To that.
I can see that happening.
I feel like if nobody has done that yet, you should probably do that because it sounds hysterical.
It actually does sound hysterical to do that. And who knows? I mean, people have their different levels of swinging, whatever they're comfortable with, and we'll get into some of those terms in a minute. But the next term, moving a little bit similar to swinging, is monogamish. Have you heard of that one before?
Yes.
I mean, I could guess
But
what that
it
would
was
be,
probably
I guess.
because you were saying it.
Monogamish.
It's not I can't decide which side of the spectrum it's on. You have that look on your face too.
I don't know where you came up with that.
Monogamish.
To be clear, we did not come up with that.
And we didn't make this one up.
Yeah.
And-
I mean, I assume that's where you have like one primary partner, but almost, I guess, an open relationship then at that point where you would be able to go out and, have multiple partners.
Yeah, it's a it's a toy. It's a term coined by Dan Savage, who is a columnist and sex advice podcaster out in Seattle. And he said it's used to describe committed relationships that still allow some outside sexual experiences.
So typically this would be like maybe you are pretty much monogamous all the time, but if you go on a work trip, it's okay. Or once in a while, like maybe twice a year, you go out and do something like together. It's sort of like maybe, and there's obviously no like right ratio, but like 90% of the time it's just the two of you. And then every once in a while, like there's some blurring of the line. So
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I mean, it's not that different from swinging. It's just more like, in our opinion, the frequency, I guess, of with it.
right.
Yeah.
All right.
Polyamory.
I could see how some of these overlap.
Yes.
And again, and that's what we were getting at earlier, which is a lot of it is how people define themselves is totally up to them. And it's going to get even more blurry here shortly. So yeah, polyamory.
Great. Well, yeah, I'm finishing this drink, so things are getting more blurry.
I know this one. This is where you actually have a romantic relationship or a love relationship with multiple people.
Yes.
I would agree.
And I think the thing that points that out is the love part, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in true form, like if you were to break down the word, like, yeah, well, polyamory literally means more or multiple loves, right? And so that would be the bare bones definition of it.
Right. And it's all, again, with the full knowledge and consent of everyone involved, right? So
Sure.
above board.
Yeah.
And kind of similar to polyamory, well, within polyamorous relationships, there can be dynamics that are triads and quads. And so,
and more.
and more than that. But essentially just that's either like 3 or 4 people or more that are in a committed relationship. However, they may not be sexually or emotionally involved with all of the other members, but they're in some sort of agreement of the relationship agreement in a way.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
This is
We're getting a little harder.
This is a tough one. Relationship anarchy.
Can you use in a sentence?
What's the origin of the word?
The sentence is, do you know the definition of relationship anarchy?
Would this be kind of the opposite of ethical monogamy, where possibly, I don't know,
Ethical non-monogamy.
or ethical non-monogamy? Yes, thank you.
Most monogamy is ethical.
And then
You would hope.
where you just kind of like, I don't know, you throw the relationship away. No, maybe I have that wrong.
I would think it was either that
Anarchy,
or like you don't have. I'm just thinking of like a person who may or may not be self-destructive or is just like, I'm going to have whatever type of relationships I want with whoever I want at any time I want, and is not communicative and is not, I don't want to say doesn't have consent because that is touchy, but like.
It's not a bad guess.
Yes, it's not a bad.
Are we
guess.
drinking, or are you guys drinking on this one? I don't know.
Yeah, you're going to need another drink because you blew it.
They got a little.
So this one
I know
is
a little bit of it.
this falls under it's sort of a type of polyamory, and it's not super easy to explain, but basically where somebody doesn't let one of their relationships necessarily impact the other. So I maybe am dating one person and we have like that relationship sort of operates in its own sort of bubble and doesn't necessarily impact my relationship with somebody else, in terms of like I could have maybe 2 or 3 partners and what I do with this partner doesn't impact what I do with this other person. Like we don't have a set hierarchy. We don't have a set like, this is my main partner and I spend 95% of my time with them and they dictate that I'm allowed to go out on 1 date a week with my other partner. So it's sort of it's a tricky one. And actually we shouldn't have done this one first. We should have
done this one first.
Yeah, we should have done a different one first. But
Because now we'll know what the other one is.
Well,
no, because it's easier to describe this if you understand that there is hierarchical and non-hierarchical polyamory as well. Whereas like Emma and I are primary partners, and one option would be that one of us has another partner, but we're still like each other's primary sort of, I guess, focus.
Yeah.
And
so that would be a hierarchical relationship because it would be a primary here and then like other relationships would be secondary.
Okay.
And that's
So it's how you place priority on the relationship.
Right.
Yeah. And some people define that as like a nest. They call it sometimes a nesting partner. So someone you lived with that could sometimes be your primary, sometimes not.
That sounds like, I find that to be like a cute way to like your nesting partner, right? Is that not okay?
I think it's cute too.
Matt's looking at me like I'm insane, but nothing else has changed. So
No, that makes sense.
then so the non-hierarchical is very similar in which like,
to the relationship anarchy.
and I know we're probably going to get in trouble for saying that, and that's okay. It's really on the non-hierarchical side. It's sort of people put all of their relationships on like a level playing field and say, even though maybe I'm living with this person, they're not any more important than my other partner or partners, and so everybody sort of has equal skin in the game, I guess. So to speak.
Yeah, and one of the notes I pulled here from looking online is that relationship anarchy is not about never committing to anything. It's like you don't necessarily never commit to anybody, but it's about designing your own commitments with the people around you of how you want to do that. And so it is, I wouldn't say there's like non-hierarchical polyamory and relationship anarchy are not synonyms, but they do overlap.
Yeah, potentially.
I can see a lot of these terms overlap.
Yes. Yeah.
relationship anarchy just has like, in general, anarchy, the term is just kind of has a negative connotation with it. So it's hard to be like,
Just everything's wild, it seems like. But
yeah.
I'm sure it's not like that.
But the way you're explaining it makes it sound more tame, manageable.
Yeah.
No, I just don't have a set structure for a certain individual relationship.
Yeah. Well, I think where the anarchy comes from is that you don't allow your other partners to place rules necessarily on you, and that you're still communicating, everything is very ethical and above board, but you're not really bound by your partner's rules, and you kind of agreed to like operate independently of each other.
Every party would know about each other, though.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yep. Exactly.
So that would still be ethical, I guess, at that part where everyone knows about it and agrees with the situation. It's just that the way I guess I would see like one person being the anarchical part of this, where if another group on the outside might be like a satellite person or something like that, they might have a hierarchical relationship, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. It just seems it'd be very, very difficult to say that everyone in there would just be flat, I guess. Not flat, but like all the same.
Non-hierarchical at all.
Yeah.
That every single person in that constellation, because you said satellite.
Yeah.
well, maybe we should have defined a different term before we got here, but we'll come to that one next. But I guess what we want, to kind of wrap up relationship anarchy, because we are not pros at it, clearly.
No.
We will put a link in the show notes there is a relationship anarchy manifesto that was written by somebody named Andy Nordgren. And we direct people to go read that and read about this a little more on your own. It was, again, we sort of have a pretty good understanding of it, describing it. And anytime we could talk to 5 different people and they would give us 5 different definitions of it. And so it's not an easy one. So we'll give you a pass. You don't have to drink as much as we said at the beginning. So real quick, you called it a satellite or orbit.
Constellation.
A constellation. So that should be a hint on what a polycule is.
Say that one more time. A poly what?
Polycule. Like a molecule, except it's poly.
Yep, a polycule.
So it's like everybody involved in a polyamorous relationship. Is it polyamorous then, or is it?
Yeah.
But
would this be like a group where there's multiple relationships within that group, but you could actually define that group as well?
So I feel like it's like those, do you remember when Facebook did that thing and it was like, how do your friends all know each other? And it's like this big circle of all of your friends. And then it has all the different lines between like who knows who and who's involved.
Yep.
So I'm imagining it's like, and that's why it's a constellation.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's pretty much right on. And but it's not necessarily that everybody in the polycule is in a relationship with each other. That's sort of the key piece. So it's just the people in your relationship and then their relationships spreading off of that. Exactly.
So if Finn and I are we are in a relationship, if I was dating someone else who was in another relationship and he was dating someone else in another relationship, like there would be 6 people there that were in a polycule of some sort, but they may not be associated with each other, if that makes sense. Like we would be the connecting piece there potentially.
Most of the time it's like a linear thing.
Yes, but not always.
Well, not most of the time, but the way you just explained it would have been that. Yeah.
All right.
It says also used to describe a sketch or visualization of a romantic network, as these drawings often resemble the depiction of molecules used in organic chemistry.
Cute.
Wow.
Polycule.
All right. So the next one, trying to recover slightly from, still recovering from relationship anarchy. Solo poly.
Yeah, that's where you have the one person and they are in multiple relationships.
Yeah.
Could be.
It could be.
I mean, that seems like it's pretty broad.
Yeah.
It is fairly broad.
Well,
but how? So
is it wrong though?
No, it's not.
I'm going to try to do the broadest definition of all of these.
So you don't have to drink?
And then just be like, this is correct.
Just not be wrong is my...
So I will say this one is sort of self-contradicting, right? Like, how can you be solo and poly?
Yeah, that's where I ran into the fact that it's a oxymoron.
Yeah, the solo. Yeah.
So the idea behind this is that it's a person who is in multiple relationships, whether it's with a couple or just another, like one person who's in 3 relationships.
It could also be one person who's in one relationship.
It could
too.
be. They could just not be in multiple relationships. That's how they define themselves. But the sort of the point, I think, with this one that distinguishes it slightly from polyamory by itself, the parent term, the umbrella term, would be that it didn't start from a couple. It wasn't a couple that then is in a relationship with another person or other people. It's a person who is developing these individual relationships.
And generally they don't go down the road of like a traditional social relationship escalator. Like they don't generally share a home or finances with
Generally. This is a vast generalization.
Yes. Oh yeah.
This is Emma. If you want to send hate mail, send it to her.
I'm reading what I found online. But generally
They can't lie on
Send your hate mail to the internet.
yeah.
Okay. DADT.
Sounds like an acronym. DADT.
Yeah.
D.
It is an acronym. That's why I didn't say DAD.
Okay, I'll drink.
You got this.
The 2 D's are the same word. Does that help?
Dating. Well, what if we just guess what the D word is first? Is this a relationship term?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do not know.
All right. We'll give in.
Have we defined any D words yet?
Have we just dating?
Yeah, they'll know.
Just help them out, Emma. Jesus.
Autonomous.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
All right. So now that you know what it means, now that you know what the acronym stands for, what does it mean in terms of a relationship structure?
Is this different than the old military term?
I'm imagining it's like somebody's like, I know you're not being monogamous, but I don't really want to know about it kind of deal. Like, here's a pass, but I don't want any details.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
I might suspect it, but I'm not going to ask. You're not going to tell me.
I mean, I feel
So
like
everything stays-
suspecting is not, I mean, I guess it could be both suspecting and just like them,
Why
the
would you not
couple
ask
or
if
whatever.
you don't suspect something?
So it could be like, I assume this because I'm noticing patterns in your behavior or how you behave around certain people, but it could also be like, you're straight up honest about like, this is a thing that's happening, but I'm not going to tell you when or who or where or how. And the other person's like, okay.
So I think your original description, Jessica, was pretty spot on. It's usually an agreed upon relationship structure where you can say you have permission to go and do anything you want or within whatever bounds you set, right? You can set the boundaries around it, but I don't want to hear about it even though I know it's happening. And so typically this is like, I'm okay with you doing these things. I just don't want to hear about it afterwards for whatever reason.
For example, some
so
people
that would be ethical though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, for example, some people have an agreement like, okay, when either one of us travels more than 100 miles away from our home, we can do whatever we want. And I don't care. I don't want to know about it, though. But I know it could be happening. Mm-hmm. And it's agreed upon after that. Mm-hmm. And then, or just like in general, some people have, it's whatever rules you want to put on. But it's that type of relationship agreement where you know that something may be happening, but you just don't want to know about it. And they both agree to that.
So, nailed it. You don't have to drink.
Ooh.
All right. The next one, I'm not going to do the acronym because that's mean.
It is mean.
All right. Poly under duress.
Or PUD.
It's a really unfortunate acronym.
It is, isn't it?
Under duress makes it sound.
Is that the poly relationship that just isn't going correctly or isn't going in a good direction?
I can't decide who would.
Some part of the relationship is not working correctly for any reason.
It kind of.
Well, it may be working
from everyone's point of view, though.
I'm trying to decide who. I guess it depends on if it's hierarchical or not, whether or not like who would be under duress.
So
I don't know.
It's a hard one.
The idea behind this is that one of the people in the relationship said that they want to be polyamorous or have other relationships, and the other person in the relationship was sort of like, I don't really want to, but I will do it to appease you because I don't want to lose this relationship. So
Yeah.
I see.
I will enter into this agreement full well knowing that it's happening, but I don't necessarily want to be here.
Yes. So that is the person that's under duress. So sometimes it's only one person that would be under duress on that.
Right.
Because the other one person
Correct.
perfectly fine. Okay.
Right.
So this is probably where people would enact don't ask, don't tell.
Could be.
Yeah, that would make
Yeah.
sense.
All right. We got all the
Kind of
hard
like
shit out of the way.
yeah, we did. If someone if we were in a relationship and one person really wanted to be polyamorous, the other one wasn't sure or was okay. They didn't want to disappoint, they wanted to let their partner do what they wanted to do, but they didn't necessarily want to do that themselves. And it wasn't always.
And it doesn't necessarily need to be as dramatic. I think there are times where this happens where they're like, hey, I'm okay with it. I don't really necessarily want to be doing it. It doesn't, it's not like they're forcing their partner into
different levels of duress.
Exactly. And this one isn't super common as well, but it has, again, it comes up quite often on Dan Savage's podcast. So it's it's something that's floating around out there, but
Okay, we're going to get a little bit more.
Hold on, we got all the hard shit out of the way.
Yeah, so we're going to get a little more raunchy.
Not really.
Right, so this is the hard shit.
or it will be.
How about the term
Well, hold on. Should we give them at least the clue of what realm we're speaking in?
We have now dived into the realm of swinging. Right. For this subset of terms.
Beautiful. Okay.
Although not exclusively.
No, it definitely is not. They're more common in the swinging lifestyle than anywhere else, but it's definitely not exclusive.
The common theme is that we're not being exclusive here, right?
At all.
Exactly.
In any way, shape, or form. Exactly.
Okay, this is as opposed to being the monogamous relationship.
Not exclusive.
All right, go for it.
Parallel play.
Oh, okay. Two couples next to each other.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Good job.
Yeah.
See, these are way easier.
I know.
Yeah.
Soft swap.
Oh, I know what this one is.
Okay.
Come on, Jessica.
Soft isn't an. I thought it was sop swap, and then I was like significant other person swap. I was like, I'm still in the acronym.
I sound much more confident than I really am on this. I think it means that you are swapping partners, but there's no sex.
No penetrative sex.
Okay. Oh, okay.
He got it. He
did.
All right.
Well, we haven't defined sex yet, though, either.
Right.
So
that's the thing.
And that was the thing.
If I go back to my Catholic school
How long
days,
do you want this episode to be?
no looking at each other.
Bring us back to your Catholic education.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. It is dependent upon how you define sex. And that's why Emma was being a stickler on it, was no penis and vagina.
Yeah.
There we go.
So that is generally agreed upon that it's penetration, then is the soft part of that. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. There's also the term hard swap or full swap.
And really nobody says hard swap.
No, most people say full swap.
Hard swap sounds like something you would hear on the floor at Wall Street.
Well, maybe.
It's a hard swap.
Yeah.
So
Use
take
my
a
frat
guess.
voice.
Is this like an LS swap? I'm going back to the engine where you
Stop.
it.
Yeah. You gotta take it out of one. You gotta take the Hemi out of one and put it in the other.
You're saying, full swap is so it would just be swapping with penetrative sex then.
Exactly.
Yeah, if we're stepping up from the sop swap.
So generally, when in our experience, I guess, when a couple enters a swinging lifestyle and they want to try to swap with people in some sort, they will often a lot of people will start with parallel play, with just being in the same room as somebody else. Then they'll advance to soft swap, and then they'll advance to full swap. But that's not always the case. That's just a general. Yeah. A lot of people do it that
how
way.
you kind of ramp into it sometimes.
Yeah.
How it can be.
Progression. And so then she kind of dropped one here, which again, they're fairly self-descriptive, but same room versus separate room, meaning that you could you would either do this while you're in the same room with somebody or in a separate room or separate hotel or.
And that would apply to
we do parallel all the time, parallel non-room. All the time, right?
Yeah,
a non-room?
A parallel separate play.
Like the rest of the world, right?
With not the same, in every hotel we've ever been in.
Exactly. So everybody is swingers, is what you're saying.
I was like, what are you
Did you get it?
Where is this going? I thought there were truth bombs happening right now, and I didn't even know what they were. So
no.
I was. I'm dead. Amazing.
Okay, how about a unicorn?
I mean, unicorn is used all over the place. I have no idea how it would be defined in this. Like the gold standard of something, I guess, that you'd never find, right?
Yeah,
I have no idea
essentially.
what that would be.
So the thing that people
Like the perfect situation.
It's almost always used because it's a hypothetical woman who is willing to date both members of an existing couple or not, or one member, but it's
or
almost
not even date.
Have relationships.
Basically, you're looking for that threesome with a single woman, and there's this theory out there that it's super hard to find that woman.
Yeah, a threesome with a single woman is kind of like, so that woman is the unicorn.
It's very difficult, to find.
Yeah, and so a unicorn is a single woman in the.
So it's always a single woman then.
Yeah, I will say that we know other people who have no trouble finding them. So I think it's more of a myth than a reality. But we are not those people. That wasn't like a self brag.
No,
Veiled in.
We found lots of unicorns.
So this gets into, I guess, the swing club atmosphere. And so there are clubs out there that are meant for swingers, I guess. And there's the term on premise versus off premise. Any ideas?
So like where any relations would be happening, either at the club or at a residence or a hotel or wherever.
So would these be at the on-premise? Would they be at a hotel saying that everything is in the venue, or is it like in the club?
Yes.
It depends.
Both.
Okay.
Are the clubs like their own like building, like it's an existing place, or is it like a convention in that it like moves from like hotel to
It depends.
Yeah,
Again.
So there are hotel parties, and those are typically, I guess you would say, on premise, because they usually will have a room dedicated to the relations, as you referred to them, and
the relations.
Parallel play.
It's capital T, capital R, the relations.
But there are also just clubs that are straight up like there's like a dance area, and then there's like usually like a back area where people go and have the relations.
There's also clubs that are just like the dance and meet and mingle, and that's more like a bar type setting.
Yeah, and there's no doing it. Those would be an off premise.
Right.
No relations allowed.
I see. So usually when you have a meetup or a club or something like that, they would be defined then what the venue is. It's more of a description for the venue then, right?
And what's allowed.
Yeah, what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do. So the next couple are things that you would potentially read on like a dating website if you were looking to meet other people, whether it was in a poly situation or
this could be on Tinder, it could be on a poly dating website, it could be on a swinging dating website.
All right. Craigslist. Not anymore. They got rid of it. They got rid of
not anymore.
Yeah.
I remember reading those. It was hilarious. Some of them were hilarious.
We've actually talked to quite a few people who had a lot of success on
Craigslist
personals. So it was apparently people were pretty pissed off when they stopped doing it.
I mean, yeah.
All right. So the first one, DDF. It's an acronym. Matt, don't worry, isn't it?
Two Ds.
And then the letter F. DDF.
TF.
I know DTF. Yeah.
I know, that makes me think of that.
So I was like, great. And then I was like, hang on a second.
I would say dude, female, but why would you say dude, female, not man, female? It's not it.
Although MMF is a term too, and that
is
would
male.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
good. That wasn't my answer.
Is the F a 4-letter word?
Yeah.
No,
I don't know if you'd have to bleep me if I dropped a F bomb.
We can swear.
You're allowed to swear.
We can swear as much as we want.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's not fun.
But it's not fun.
Okay. Are the 2 Ds the same word?
No.
Can we ask the audience?
Okay.
Yeah. Ask Emma. They've suffered long enough.
Drug and disease free.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Go ahead.
We have a quick disclaimer on this one. So you'll see this on a lot of profiles out there, but in our opinion, it is not the best way to put it out there because you are not being as inclusive, I think, as you should be. So
It can be a little shamey.
Right. Because if somebody had been diagnosed with something in the past or currently, like, then you want to invite that conversation is the whole point.
So I guess while we're here giving a public service announcement, what we would encourage people to say is that something along the lines of, we know our status, we get tested regularly, and we have the conversation. Just something short like that, rather than this blank, like, kind of making people who may not have that, DDF on their profile to feel shitty about themselves. That's all.
Yeah.
So the next one is HWP. Don't overthink it.
Harold with penis.
Yeah, it's a very specific term for only people who named Harold. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know if Harold was slang for something. I don't know. I made that up.
Harold's the unicorn of the guys.
Yeah. Of course.
I think Matt just coined a new term.
Yeah. A herald. It's no longer. So some people say manicorn instead of a unicorn, but I think calling them heralds from now on is heralds with penis. All right. This one's just height, weight, proportionate.
Oh, okay.
That also sounds like it could be very exclusion.
And we're not encouraging it. We're just saying that that's
Again,
something that's
not encouraging necessarily.
Height, weight, proportional. Like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Congratulations, I guess,
These
on your
probably
good
come
genes.
from like the old classified type
Yeah.
things,
Exactly.
don't they, where they're like looking for, and they have everything.
Yeah.
Abbreviated.
Back in the ASL days, age, sex, location.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this one is one of those that it's just, we know it's out there and just wanted people to know what it meant. This next one, though, is not exclusionary, and we'll give you just a brief time to think about it.
Yeah. Take a guess what you think.
It's an acronym, and people will say KIK. It's KIK. Yeah. You're not
Try to guess what it might mean. It was unfair. No one spells that out.
Yeah.
Everyone just says kick.
Is it something about kinks?
No.
Nope.
All right. For the sake of
you made that
time.
a lot harder than it should be. It's just an app that people use for chatting.
Oh, I've heard of that.
It's like what's.
I thought it was an acronym. I've heard of KIK.
All right.
Yeah. What is it? So what does KIK stand for?
I have no idea what it stands
then how do you?
Does it actually stand for something? Oh,
I don't know if it
it's
does.
a messaging app.
It's
Does
a
it
messaging
Really,
app.
Finn?
It's like WhatsApp.
Really?
All right, edit this one out.
What?
We're going to edit kick out completely.
Why? No, I think it's an important one to include.
Okay.
You just messed it up.
Is that the go-to app for the lifestyle? Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. I think, and there may be some people listening who said they've switched because a little while ago they were basically going to shut it down, and then somebody revived it, and so
The benefit of using KIK is because you don't tie it to your phone number. So you just like make an account. And so then when you can chat with people, they don't have your phone number. And that's why it keeps a little bit of privacy that way.
All right. Fluid bonding. We've got a chemist in the room.
That doesn't sound great.
It doesn't sound great.
Maybe that's just getting drunk with a buddy. That's fluid bonding, right?
They're getting drunk with a buddy. It's dude time.
I will say, Matt, you and I have never fluid bonded.
So when you cross the streams.
Cross streams.
Cross streams.
Well, I say you've been friends long enough that we used to pee in the same toilet.
Correct. And we've still never fluid bonded.
Okay. Then I don't know. Oh, well, then it's just swapping. I don't know. What are you swapping, though? Any type of fluid?
So typically this would be having penetrative sex without condoms.
Okay.
With anybody really, I guess, any partner of any kind.
Okay.
Why don't we just call sex that all the time? It sounds so much cooler.
Fluid bond.
Yeah.
Well, because you could still use condoms.
But that's different than having sex with a condom then.
Yes.
Right. So I guess
Okay.
Oh, I guess it would be unprotected.
Correct.
Exactly.
So,
right. And so a lot of people will
not super cool.
Yeah.
Well,
and there are some people who, they are in long-term relationships with multiple people, and here we'll throw some more terminology out there, they have a closed polycule in that they know everybody in that group is not having sex with anybody outside of that group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've all gotten tested. They've all done their due diligence, and then they will start to eliminate condoms potentially. So that's sort of where it comes from.
Okay. To be honest, we have never heard this term until today when I was researching this. So it's not very commonly used. A cupcake party.
Are we frosting lots of things?
That's a different term.
Okay.
I'm going to regret saying that.
That it sounds like fun.
It sounds delicious, I think.
That sounds delicious.
I think I'm going to regret saying that.
Is it like a lot of cute people?
So this is again not something we've ever heard, and it's definitely
also very sexist.
It's a very sexist definition, but I think it's hilarious nonetheless.
A gathering usually involving only women and most often in a private residence in which a group of people gather to explore their sexuality, discuss sex, experiment with sex toys, and so on. The hostess of a cupcake party
Which is my favorite part of that whole thing. The hostess of a cupcake party.
often provides refreshments, hence the name.
I think it's because we call women cupcake. And from here on
we
out,
do.
No. Yeah.
All the time, right? That's definitely what we call them.
So anyway, that was just for fun.
So that honestly sounds exactly like a sex toy party. Isn't that what kind of happens? I mean, they might not use them at the party, but other than that, you have refreshments, you talk about sex, they drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's a pillow fight that goes on.
No, there is not.
Well,
okay, that was just for fun.
I have never had cupcake parties either. Or fluid bonding.
What is it? How is that? Is there not a term for like, is there like a protein bar party for like, if men are going to get together and talk about sex and sex toys and like have refreshments?
Not that I've heard of, but I've also never heard of this one.
Cupcake party.
Where do you go and find these?
This one was off of the
Google
internet.
machine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm pretty sure Urban Dictionary will have.
I did not go down the Urban Dictionary route, so I was afraid of doing that.
That's probably not the most. Yeah.
All right. These next 4 terms are somewhat grouped together, but
and they're kind of, to give you a hint, they're kind of relationship styles.
Yeah. So the first one is hot wife.
Hot wife. And this is a relationship, not a person?
It's both. It's a way that people.
It's a dynamic.
It's a dynamic within swinging, typically.
It's when you would bring another male in, right?
Bingo.
Mostly correct. Yeah. Do you want to elaborate any, or is that's your final answer?
Well, the other male would have activities with the female. I'm assuming. I don't know if the original. Well, you say wife, so husband
have activities
would be involved as well, or
yeah.
What?
So this one is usually the man and the woman in a relationship are. Let's just be very exclusionary and say husband and wife or boyfriend girlfriend, and the woman would. They're sort of at an equal platform, but they do bring in another male to have activities with the wife. Was the general gist of this one.
So in that case, is the original male in that relationship, is he participating in activities?
Sometimes
depends.
Yeah,
I think that's up to him.
In this case, it is really just up to the couple of how they want to handle that. Right. I mean, I guess it always is.
It always is.
So it's a 3-way then.
Correct. Could be.
Okay.
It could be. Or it could just be...
he could just watch.
He could just watch, or he could just not be there at all and just hear about it later. It's more about the woman or the wife sleeping around with other men.
Having activities,
right? With the full consent.
Having relations.
With the full consent and encouragement of the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that you included encouragement, because I feel like that kind of changes the game a little bit, right? Like, it's one thing to consent to it and to be like, yeah, you're hot, go get him. Like, that's a completely other thing, right?
Yep.
Interesting.
Which Which sort of leads us
Crazy.
into the next one,
I like it.
which is cuckold.
C-U-C? C-O-C?
No idea how it's spelled.
Cuckold.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's where the husband or boyfriend is not part of the sexual relationship at that point. Or not that there's another male in the relationship and I guess I don't know exactly how it would work, but like is he dominant over the other male or something like that?
So close, yes.
Sexually? Not sexually, but like with the woman in the relationship.
Yeah.
Right. So the husband would typically be submissive, typically to the wife, but
And
sometimes
potentially the other guy.
Sometimes to the other guy. And so
So there's going to be a dom sub relationship there of some sort.
like a little bit of a power dynamic. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And typically, I guess the husband, a piece of that can be like taunting and humiliation as well, which goes into the power dynamic. So related to the term cuckold, so think about the relationship we just explained, is the term bull. Who would that be in that relationship?
The bull?
I know this one too.
You're allowed to answer.
Yeah.
The bull's the other guy coming in, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's doing the
activities.
activities. Yeah.
And to be fair, it could be the other guy in a hot wife dynamic as well. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be just in the cuckolding realm.
Right.
Yeah.
And the last one is stag vixen.
Is this two people or is this a single person?
It's stag slash vixen. So it's two different
people.
So it's like, I'm assuming it's like male, female of the same kind of deal. So would it be like the single person in any of these relationships that like doesn't have a nesting partner, I suppose, or no?
So this is sort of I would almost say the flip kind of the cuckolding, where it's the man is a little more dominant and he's encouraging his female partner to go out and have activities either in his presence or on her own. And again, this one is not quite as common, and I think there's a lot of people who use this in different ways. So it's sort of just typically a dynamic where the woman is doing things, but the man is not in some capacity.
It's a little bit related to hot wife.
Yeah.
Because the woman's going out and doing things.
Sometimes you'll hear them used interchangeably.
Yeah.
Honestly, the hot wife and stag vixen.
Okay. Moving away from that type of stuff, as in activities, I guess, to some.
Oh my gosh. We sound like such prudes saying it's like, activities.
Well, Matt did go to Catholic school for over 7 years.
And so did you. Not for 7 years.
Hey, I got out. I got out earlier than he did.
Those are formative years.
Okay. NRE. This is the last, almost the last acronym.
Can you give us like a category?
It's new relationship energy.
Yeah.
That's just the answer, Finn. That wasn't a category.
Well, but what does it mean?
New relationship energy?
Yeah.
Is it something would you put this in an ad or would you put this in is this just like a term?
It's just a term. You're right. This is not an ad. This is moving away from relationship dynamics too. This is a separate term.
Okay. So this would be like, it's a new relationship. So that's the energy that's brought in. That's the young love. That's the...
I'm making out all the
whatever, I don't
time.
know, yeah.
There's butterflies in my stomach. I want to eat ice cream off your nose.
Exactly. you nailed it.
I don't mean that I don't mean that in a fetishy way. I mean it in like a we're sharing a malt in the 50s cute way.
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's it, right. And and oftentimes what will happen, to put this in a little more context, would be if, let's say, you're in a polyamorous relationship and your partner goes and finds this new other partner and they're going crazy over each other, right? There can be sometimes some tension created around the fact that you don't have this new relationship energy with your partner that you've been together with 10 years, and all of a sudden they have this with this new person. So that's typically where it comes up, and people will shorten it to NRE.
Mm-hmm. How about metamor?
Metamor, like as in metamorphosis?
Not quite.
Metamor?
Not quite, no.
Meta as in halvesies, right? Not quite. Is that what we're metaing? Or meta as in meta is within. Like one within the other, like Inception.
Probably more the second.
Yeah.
Okay. And more is just MOR, not MORE.
MOUR, as in love.
Oh, metamor. I don't know. I'm just saying it different and seeing if it sounds like it means something now.
Doesn't help. I don't know.
So in a polyamorous relationship, typically it's if Finn and I were in a relationship and I was in a relationship with another person, Finn and that other person would be metamors.
It's your partner's partner.
Your partner's partner.
Aw.
Okay.
It's your partner, not in-law.
Yeah.
In love.
Sure.
Your partner in love.
Okay, this one's just a fun
And we're almost
one.
done for people who are like, when is this going to end?
Yeah, we have two more. The
I
term
was just thinking that.
Yeah, Matt's one of those people.
the term is polywog.
It's like there's a pond somewhere in there. I don't know. Polywog sounds like something from.
So is it in a
Harry Potter or
polyamorous then?
It's in a polyamorous relationship.
Wog.
Yeah. It's essentially it's a child in a polyamorous household.
Oh, okay. That kind of makes sense.
That's cute. I just envision them having a pool and just swimming all the time because they're a polywog.
Yeah.
Okay, last term. Last term. So this one is one of my favorite terms out there because it's just sweet.
More than polywog?
And polywog's sweet too, but this does not mean the same thing at all. The word is compersion.
Compersion.
It's not dirty.
It's not dirty. It's a feeling.
She said, I don't know. Is it your content? Is it a feeling you have towards a specific person?
Yes.
Is it like a companion, but no, not even close. Okay.
It's thought of the opposite of jealousy.
Oh.
So it's if your partner has a partner and they're super happy, you're like, yay.
Exactly.
You guys are so cute.
Exactly. It's the feeling of joy when a partner invests in and takes pleasure from another romantic or sexual relationship, like their partner's one. So it's a positive emotional reaction to a lover's other relationship.
Huh.
That is really sweet.
I think it can be more generic too, just in that you take joy in your partner's joy.
Yeah.
Whether they're out going to a cooking class or
it doesn't have to be a relationship. Yeah. It could be that, hey, Finn went to this basketball game and he really enjoyed it. And I'm really happy about him doing that. That's compersion because he's happy about it. I'm happy about it.
Unless my team lost.
And no one's happy.
And then no one can be happy for days.
Yeah. In the relationship setting, or the romantic setting, it's more used when you're happy that your partner is happy in a different relationship, I guess. Okay. Well, that was
an adventure.
A lot of editing.
Smooth. That was super smooth. I don't know how we did it that smooth.
It's a roller coaster of emotions.
We're a little bit awkward.
This was your guys'
technology.
idea.
I know.
Yeah, sorry we dragged you into this. Well, did you at least have fun?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for coming on. And I wanted to also circle back and just say, you guys, I know that we mentioned at the beginning of this recording that we did drop a shock on you guys when we told you about all of this because we hadn't told you about it previously. And you two have been nothing but amazing and supportive. And we couldn't be more thankful for that. So I just want to say thank you for being the amazing people you are. And thanks for coming on and supporting us.
Of course. Yeah. We're glad to be able to do this.
Yeah, I definitely have compersion that you guys
When you say it you have compersion, it sounds like I need to take you to the doctor.
I don't know how to incorporate it yet.
Are you compersed?
No, really. I'm glad that you guys. I'm glad your podcast is doing really good, and that's awesome.
I'm also glad you guys
you guys felt you could talk to us about it as well.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
After 10 years.
Not quite.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't when I said we were shocked. I was the part that the swinging part of it is not I don't want to say it's not shocking because it's not like I expected it or anything like that, but it's like, that's great. That's fine. I don't know how. Yeah.
Well, and to be fair, like it wasn't, it was a part of our lives, but it wasn't a huge part of our lives.
Right.
And the podcast, starting the podcast and doing all of this, it has become a bigger part of our lives because it's also a big project we're doing.
Yeah. I think that might have been the shocker, is that we could probably see it becoming a bigger part of your life as well too. Just
and not
because
knowing what that was.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Which I know
fair.
I asked a lot about, like, because like basically like we're the same friends still, and I was like, do you think that you'll ever be in the, I don't know, and there's no way you could know this, so it's probably an unfair question for me to ask, but if you were ever in polyamorous relationship, if we ever would meet these people, because that would be the point where we would be like, well, if you're going to spend a lot of time and be like involved with other people, like we care about you and we want to know who they are and make sure they're not turds. So that's basically where we're coming from. It's just like, yeah.
Well, in which we, at that point, I think we kind of told you that you have met at least one of our friends that, even though it wasn't necessarily a polyamorous relationship, just that we've become really good friends with these people.
Oh, yeah.
And that you know them, and we've hung out as the six of us, and we're none the wiser. So,
and they're cool.
But we appreciate that you you care about us and want to make sure that anybody else that we're in relationships with are not turds.
Yeah.
Because we would do the same for you. But anyway, the bottom line is thank you. And thanks for coming on and doing this potentially somewhat awkward show with us. And
I'm not awkward.
It was fun. Well, Finn, you're always
None
awkward.
of us. None of us are at all, ever.
Awesome.
So, okay.
Well, maybe we'll do a follow-up one where we dissect how we told you. And how not to tell people. Or how to tell
Maybe
tell
how
people
to tell
better.
people better.
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
I remember you trying to get me drunk.
That was like tip number one. Don't get them drunk.
I tried to get him drunk and fluid bond with him. I didn't really.
It wasn't. No, it was Matt's definition of fluid bond. Getting drinks with your buddies.
So, all right. Well, let's let them go to bed since they're way past their bedtime.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, guys.
And we will chat soon.
All right.
Okay.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.
And we're back, and just wanted to thank Matt and Jessica again for being willing to come on the show and explore some territory that is not familiar to them. You know, we did not give them very much information ahead of time. In retrospect, it probably would have been a lot better to give them at least the terms, not to research, but to think about ahead of time. But we did not do that. So next time we'll do that.
I just didn't trust her.
Not to Google.
I know her nature is to research things. So I didn't trust her.
That's not very nice to say.
It's also not true. We just didn't think about it.
No, we didn't.
Until she suggested it after the interview. Yeah. She's like, you guys should have given us these terms, and then we could have thought about our answers and had them prepared.
And had some fun guesses. Anyway, sorry about that.
Next time.
Hope you enjoyed the show anyway.
And we will see everybody on Wednesday.
Yep, next Wednesday will be a normal show, and then episode 2 of Focus Fridays will be out in 1 week. And as a quick reminder, you can download everything on our website, normalizingnonmonogamy.com. Thanks everyone for listening.